All right, what's up? I think we are recording now. This is for a friend of mine, Alex, to kind of show him an app and help me out. So, Alex, take a look. Let me show you what I got cooking here. Uh, so, um, Let me get myself organized here. Let me get more of the screen and less of my face. So I built this app called NowNotes. I was using it a little bit like a CRM, if you will, just when I was working with customers. Found a really good purpose for it, and it's to capture information, everything we got going on actively, and then to follow up. It used to be called next steps, so I wouldn't forget what I owed the customer, I wouldn't forget what they owed me, and to keep progress going. So let me see if I can populate a record here, because it almost doesn't make sense to not have a record populated. So I'm going to add an account here. I'm going to say this is a meeting, and then this is if I had an opportunity. So attendees, you can pick people. I think I have a test account in here. You can add all kinds of people. Who else do I have in there? Letter A. I'll pick some of the demo guys. Okay. So those two guys showed up. We have this, a little product catalog, so I knew if I was talking about a certain scenario. I'll just go like this on contract management. These are some flags that are still in development here. Recipients is different than attendees. It's like, who do you want to get this information? I'm going to pick on this guy, Ed Adams here, so a former coworker. So not just that, you can add everybody and anybody, right? So anybody that's in your system, you can add them to receive a summation of these notes, which is really cool. Notes about the quarter. That's supposed to be projecting a short. So met with Alex about innovating. And I have a use case where so I think really what I was hoping to do is usually when you fill these out, it's a lot more pertinent to customer scenarios, but I'm just making some notes. So I'm going to save this record. There are some related lists that begin to build out down here, tasks and requirements. I might consolidate these and categorize them at this at the record level, but right now they're different. Next tasks are like, hey, what are my next steps? Like, what needs to happen? And if I did, continue to pick on people, the person who needs this, what I need to do something technical. I'll say submit a API request to fix the billing, something like that, and then elaborate. You can put some information in there. Who is it assigned to? You're going to want to give it to a specific person. When is it due by? So real basic state, open or work in progress. So those are for like next tasks. And then requirements is a little bit more about, if you see the types, it's more like a question, a requirement. And I added one called note. This was actually getting really, really helpful, and I'll show you later. But I would say a requirement is like the customer is saying, I want to make sure it emails a group of records, this is me, and not just a bunch of single emails. A list of records in the body of the email. So I'm just taking notes, right? So here happens, this is like a requirement, I call it a requirement. Who's it assigned to? I don't have, let me see who else is in it. Abraham Lincoln. This was a categorization, a sales categorization. If you're doing value selling, state, you can get that auto-populated. Now, this reference thing is really cool because the way I use this is you could put a like a video. So if it was more like a note, I would send them something that says, hey, here's the videos that we talked about over the phone. And I place it in here, and when I do the, a little bit later on when I hit send, then what happens is the customer will get a really slick email including a video link. So let me just do that. So I'm just going to put a note here and say video called ServiceNow Foundation. Right? So just say that I was on YouTube and I knew there was a video about the ServiceNow, and I'll go in here, or just time I want to give them this whole thing, Now Support.
Welcome to Now Support, the official channel for.
And so I'm going to say ServiceNow Support. This is the name. So maybe I told the customer, hey, you're going to want to go to this website. So now I have like a couple of requests here. It's categorizing things. I have some tasks to do. If I start assigning additional tasks, you start to know what's going on in the scenario. Okay, so really to give you an idea of some of the automation, I do have it where if I go to notifications here, and I have this one called Send Now Notes. I think this is the one I want to try. Preview. Okay, so my icon is missing. I had a really cool logo here. But if you just ignore the logo, you'll notice things are starting to develop, to build out here. So you have the account that you spoke to, the things that you talked about, subject, objective, right, requirements, if submitter, I forget, I have to get the reference on that. Next step, things I have to do. So it looks like it doesn't have my my link to, and I don't want to bore you with me troubleshooting this, but I do want to see really quick this note. Maybe I haven't finished building out the notification to include the note. So let me change it to enhancement. I bet you that'll do it. So let me go ahead and do a background notification. There's probably a faster way to get here, but let's just take one more quick peek here. Yeah, so now it's like additional, so I called it additional information, and then I have this, and so it's really cool. And if I put their name in there, that would come up. So it looks really, really good. It emails really, really well. It's formatted. I'm going to improve all of this later, formatting with your help, but really cool stuff. So the intent is you're taking notes in meeting, you're finished, and then you send it out and everybody has stuff. And people have next steps. So if you have 2 or 3 people with next steps and due dates, tracking that and holding them accountable is the fun and tricky part. So what ends up happening is overdue by account, open work. So it looks like it's missing, but it was a list of records right here of tasks, which kind of looks a little bit like this one. Right, so we know this is there. And so if there was 20 tasks here, all to assign to 5 different people for each, at some point I want to get them notified that they have pending tasks waiting that they need to address. So I'm trying to get that script and business rule kind of, whatever it's going to take to give me a chance to, once every couple of days or so, send out a reminder saying, Omar, you have these 5 tasks, and here's their number, and here's the short description. Don't forget, you owe this to this customer. So it gives you a summation of kind of like your next steps. And the cool thing is that if we do this right, it should be able to send this list to external people as well. So if you're working with the customer and one person in procurement owes you an NDA, and the other person owes you a server account for licensing different things, even they'll get their notices saying, hey, don't forget you owe Omar server account. That's what I'm trying to solve for. So I hope that makes sense. I will give you admin rights to this place, to this instance here, and maybe you could take a look. And I know we're gonna have a meeting about it, but I wanted to give you a heads up. All right, so I appreciate it. Okay, I hope that explains things. Thanks.